Because it's very hard to get a girlfriend if you go out on the streets of Camden Town dressed like this and you pretend that you don't live with your mum and dad and you meet a nice girl from someone like Hackney and, you know, they've got that trendy haircut where it's really short on one side and long on the other, not because they could only afford half a haircut, but because they were getting it cut and had some sort of whimsical epiphany and ran off to paint a painting or sculpture, right? And then she's like, do you want to come back to mine? I've managed to avoid saying where I'm from at this point. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go back there. She lives in Hackney in a place that she describes as cosy. And by that she means that all the appliances are in one room, the cooker, the bed, the shower and the hoover, the kettle, everything, right? And she listens to the Smiths 24/7 and you think she really likes the Smiths until when she's in the shower you try and turn it off, you realise it's just covering up the sound of rats underneath that. But then she goes, oh, so where are you from? And then you say that you're from Bromley in Kent, right? And then she automatically just goes, that is the end of the relationship right there. That means that you basically live with your mum and dad. And I've had to try and combat that in my life since I've learned that that is normally the end of any kind of sexual intercourse that might be coming my way. To just go, I don't live with my mum and dad, I live with my rent. Which is basically the same as living with my mum and dad, but it's cooler. They are my mum and dad, but I've never spoken to them. I don't even know what their names are. And if all else fails, just tell a girl that you like Vampire Weekend. Because everybody likes Vampire Weekend. For vampires who hate Vampire Weekends, because as you all know, a Vampire Weekend is in fact a Tuesday and a Wednesday, which makes it nearly impossible for a vampire to hold down a full-time job. In the same way, I'm sure, Sarah, you enjoy a bank holiday, don't you? Absolutely. Tim, you enjoy a bank holiday, yeah, right? Gentlemen, they enjoy a bank holiday. Banks hate them. They get bored, sometimes they might take a little trip out of town, just on a whim, so they've got nothing to do all day. Might nip over on the Eurostar to France, yeah, forget to tell itself that it's going, and then charges itself for taking money out of itself in another country, then tries to shut down its own account while it's paying for a meal in a top restaurant, and then also hates getting sand and sun cream in its flip-flops like everybody else. So as I was saying, you cannot start an Edinburgh show with the image of a bank marauding around southern France in a pair of flip-flops, right? You simply can't do it. So I thought, what other ways do comedians start an Edinburgh show, right? So I thought, I'm going to start my Edinburgh show coming out on stage and talking about what I used to do before I was a stand-up comedian, because loads of comedians come out and they come out and they go, oh, I used to be a cat tamer, or, you know, I used to be an archaeologist, right? And I was going to start the show like that, but I can't start the show like that either because I've not done anything interesting. I've had 2 jobs before I started being a stand-up comedian. The first one, I worked in Pizza Hut, right? And my job in the Pizza Hut wasn't even to bring the pizzas out, it was to bring out the birthday cakes for the small children of a Friday and Saturday. And I come out, and you'd have to light all the candles, and you have to walk out really, really slowly so you could blow any of the candles. They turn all the lights off in the place, and your face would just be uplifted, and you'd be walking out like this. And I'd start to pretend that I was the Undertaker of WWF. I'd pop it down on the child's table and go, rest in peace. What's that, you want a doggy bag? I've got a body bag. Once I genuinely did need a body bag because they wanted 84 candles. And it took me about 15 attempts. By the time I got over there, she'd died. That's obviously not true. But after that, I worked for a short while at Marks and Spencer's, which again is no way of starting a show. You can't come out and go, oh, I used to work in like nobody wants to hear about it. And I didn't even have a proper job there. I used to work on those little sounding tables where they give out free samples of like red and white wine or little party food samples. And I was working there one Saturday and this creepy old gentleman came over and I was doing wine and he came over and he went, what's this? And he said, it's red and white wine. I mean, which one's which? He said, where's it from? I said, it's from Australia. He said, are you from Australia? I said, no, I'm from Bromley in Kent. He went, there's a Kent in Australia. I said, I'm still not from there. He said, you know they have big spiders in Australia. So there's a man called Big Spider in Bromley who hangs around the back of the skate ramp by Adler's fingering 16-year-old spider, but I'm still not from there. Another time I was working there and I had chavs come up to my table, right, and I'm really scared of chavs, right? I hang around at night bus stops dressed like this. At worst, at best, I'm wearing like a 1920s suit, and one of them might come up and try and mug me because I look a bit weird and vulnerable and like I haven't got any weapons. And then they'll come up to me and they'll just be like, give me your phone, give me your keys, give me your wallet. And the best thing I can do is pretend at that point that I'm some sort of ghost. The only problem with that is when you're just pretending punches still hurt. I was genuinely scared of this man. He's come up to the table. I say, man, he was about 15, but he had a better beard than me, so I'm obliged to call him a man. And he went, what is this? And I was doing little mini sausage rolls, like party food. And I went, they're sausage rolls. And he went, yeah, what is it? And I went, you've never heard of the sausage roll? And he's like, yeah, what is it? I said, well, what it is, it's a little piece of sausage meat wrapped in a parcel of pastry. I went, that's alliteration. He went, yeah, what is it? I went, we haven't got time for an English lesson. And then I went, go on, try one. He went, I'm taxing some of those. I said, no, they're free samples. You don't have to see them, they're free, right? And he looked confused. No, go on, try one, right? And he put one in his mouth, and I saw all the emotions take him over. I saw the look of sort of fear that he was somehow not breaking the law for a change. I saw, you know, like the confusement that's not even a word, but he was confused that even though his mum worked in Greggs and he got a 50% discount, he hadn't gone in and just tried spending 50p on one just to see what it was like. He looked hurt that he'd never been invited to a child's party. He looked delighted by the taste of the sausage and the pastry inside his mouth. And then he just summed it up with one proclamation. He went, that is well much. And then he went, I'm taxing some of those. I said, I've already told you they're free. And he went, alright then, like I'd offended him that he couldn't break the law. And he thought, what's next down from breaking the law? Lying. So he went, alright then, I'm taking one for my friend Steve, I'm taking one for my friend Barry, I'm taking one for my friend Albert, I'm taking one for my friend Julian, I'm taking one for my friend Barbara. I'm running out of names, but you get And then I knew that he was lying to me because he was putting them in his mouth unless he was some kind of hip-hop hamster. So obviously you can't start a show by coming out and going, I'm going to do a show where I talk about Marks and Spencer's or Pizza Hut, right? And the only other real option to start a show with, I've seen comedians do it, is to come out and talk about their family, right? And this is where I got another message from, because my mum and dad hate me doing stand-up comedy, right? They hate the fruity dress that's going on, they don't like any part of it, they don't understand it, right? And, like, for example, I used to work for my dad for a little while. I tried to be like a normal kid, like he worked as a builder, he still does, right? And so I go and work with him on a building site, obviously not dressed like this. And I get on there about 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll be walking across the building site, and you get, alright, Paige! Got your mum's hair on again? And I'll be like, shut up, Dad, you married her. Like, out of anybody, right? And then I've got like a ditzy mum who doesn't really get some of my jokes and things like that. You know, like, for example, my mum does aerobics. My dad picked her up a couple of weeks ago from aerobics, and she got in the car and they started driving, and they went past the bus stop, and my mum went, see that woman there, she's on my course, we should give her a lift because there's not a lot of buses this time of night and it's not the nicest area where we're from, right? And then my dad winds down the window and goes, alright love, where are you going? And she goes, Bromley, and he goes, brilliant, I'll give you a lift, right? So she jumps in the back of the car, they drive up, drop off in Bromley, all the way there, about 10 minutes in the car, nobody says a word to anybody, right? She gets out of the car, she thanks my dad for the lift, right? And then my dad turns to my mum when she's outside and goes, why didn't you speak to her then? And my mum went, what no? And my dad just went mental. So he loves to like ruin anybody. Like my mum and dad went for a curry, and they were just about to step out of the house, and it started belting it down with rain, right? And my mum went, don't worry, I'll drive. The curry house is only like 3 minutes away by car, and then I'll go and pick the car up tomorrow with the dog. We'll go for a walk, pick the car up, it'll be fine. Then we can both have a couple of drinks, and we'll walk back after we've had the curry, right? They drive down there, they have a few drinks, they're in there having a curry. Call my Steve there, he's ordered some poppadoms, and they have a few beers. They come out and it's raining harder than when they first got in there. My mum goes, don't worry, like it's 2 minutes in the car, I'll drive, we won't get pulled over, it'll be absolutely fine, right? Famous last words, gets in the car, starts driving, gets pulled over, they breathalyse her, and somehow it shows up on the test as clear, right? And you think my dad would be pleased, but he is furious. He goes straight back down to the curry house and accuses them of watering down the beer. And so, do you know what I mean? These people are nightmares. You don't want to start an Edinburgh show with like a negative force in the show. I've been taught that, right? Like, for example,